Nakananda, if you still desire to know, use the opportunity to experience your memory crystal. I wish for you to see and understand it for yourself. It's not just the souls of you two. You also have relationships with many other souls at that time. Lord Foch replied, raising another point. All right, after that, Benjasila followed the Buddha to Savathi, along with her family, who sold all their possessions and moved there permanently to support their daughter and the Buddha. Later, another temple was built by a generous, wealthy woman who used gold coins obtained from selling her most valuable jewelry. She had forgotten it at Jetavana temple but did not wish to take it back. So she announced its sale to use the money for good deeds. However, no one could afford to buy it because of its extremely high value. So she decided to buy it herself and used all the money to build a temple, transforming the place into a paradise like Tavatemsa heaven, because it was full of various flowers, both perennial and annual, blooming in both summer and winter. She named that temple Bupfram Temple, and because the temple's founder was a woman, the monks residing there were mostly nuns, one of whom was Benjamin, who moved there from the time it was first built. At that time, after Master Bavari passed away, she moved to reside at Jetavana temple, where the Buddha was also staying, because the Buddha stayed in Savathi the longest. This city became known as the center of his Dharma dissemination. Ascetics, monks, and seekers from all directions traveled there to converse with him without ceasing. This city was therefore considered the center of Dharma dissemination in that era of the Buddha. Later, the Buddha assigned everyone who had attained the truth to travel and propagate these principles to various places. Some traveled to distant lands, but most returned to their original hometowns. One of them was Sariputta and Nanda, who chose to travel to a small district located on the upper plains before going up to Savathi. That place was Sariputta's birthplace. At that time, traveling downstream from Savathi often involved using rafts along the Irrawaddy River, or the Yom River as it is known today, as Master Bavari had done, because it was the most energy-efficient way to travel. Later, this place became the largest monastic university called Nakananda. I've heard of this largest monastic university, but isn't it called Nalanda? I asked. The real name is Naga. The word Naga or Nag means one who is ready or intends to learn about being Buddha. The word Nanda comes from the name of Nanda, who was the Buddha's half-brother and was known as a senior monk with profound mastery of bodily and mental restraint because he used to be infatuated with sensual pleasures, but eventually attained the truth. So he clearly understood the negative consequences of letting the mind flow with desires. Lord Foch explained. Where is Nakananda located? I interjected because I wanted to know. After the two monks traveled by raft for 5 days, on the 6th day, they arrived at a small, peaceful community called Tamban Chaliang. It was an old community with people living there for a long time. This district was about 110 kilometers away from Savathi, if traveling on foot through forests and mountains, but almost twice as far, about 190 kilometers. If traveling by raft along the Irrawaddy River, it was only 32 kilometers east of Velavana, Rajagaha, or Uttaradit province today. This district was under the administration of the Magadha kingdom, with Rajagaha as its capital. Initially, the two monks' purpose in establishing a community there was only to propagate the Dharma. according to the Buddha's teachings. However, because the location of this community was like a gateway, opening to Savatthi and Roger, travelers, merchants, and even monarchs had to stop at this community to prepare supplies. When they learned that Nanda, who was a relative of the Buddha, had established a community in this district, coupled with the fact that a wealthy man from Rojaga named Ananja had moved there because he saw its strategic location, they jointly supported Nanda's community. This wealthy man, Dinanjaya, was the one who brought prosperity to this place later, by organizing and structuring its administration, until it became a small city called Muang Sekut Noi, which was its informal name because the wealthy man, Dinanjaya's ancestors came from the city of Sakut, and at that time, Sekot was considered the most prosperous and powerful. Where is the real Sekot located? I interjected. It's Royet province today, Lord Foch replied. So Muang, Sekot Noi and Nakananda are the same place? I asked. Yes, they are the same place. In the early days, it was not yet established as a city, only a stopover community. Therefore, when merchants, travelers, and the wealthy man, Dinanjaya, donated money to build residences for the monks living in this area, coupled with the influx of people from all directions to see the Buddha, but who gained clarity and attained the truth from Nanda's unique methods, they settled there to teach others. This was because Nanda had created a process that enabled people to effectively express the Buddhahood within themselves. Over time, more and more people came to live there. So eventually, there were as many as 10,000 dormitories for those studying to be Buddha and for the teaching monks. There were nearly 10 assembly halls that could accommodate hundreds of people at a time, a large library that collected knowledge, and 10 refectories for the ordained monks to eat every day, spread across an area of nearly 10 square kilometers. Most of the funding came from the wealthy man Dane, but all the buildings were made of wood. The only permanent structure that existed there before was a Devaravati-style stupa of Hinduism, built with laterite stone plastered with cement, located on the banks of the Irrawaddy River. Today it is called Wat Chao Chan. As this place became more prosperous, over 1,000 years after the Buddha's passing, those wooden buildings deteriorated and collapsed, and there were frequent fires. The only evidence that villagers had ever seen was the discovery of hundreds of thousands of wooden posts used as the foundations of those wooden buildings. Villagers, therefore, called this area Esayon Tor, which means 1,000 stumps. Later, about 1,000 years later, a city was built over some parts of Nakananda, and temples were built according to traditional customs. That is, building Buddha images, ordination halls, and pagodas with brick and mortar. There are therefore many temples close together here. The image of the monastic university, Nakananda, is therefore not the same as what existed in the Buddha's time. All the structures were built later, such as the city walls surrounded by water. The Irrawaddy River was used on the east side, a natural canal on the north side, and 2 more sides were dug, the west and south sides. Over 10 temples were built within those city walls, and many more outside the city walls. Today, this place is called Muang Sawanaklok, or Muang Sis, in Sukhothai province. So, the Nakananda University was actually located here? I asked.